The AMC short squeeze is still on, in my personal opinion. Now, we went over that a little bit in the last video, but here in this video, I want to talk about what to currently expect, or at least what I am currently expecting. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Come to your own conclusions, all of that good stuff. But AMC actually beat on earnings. The next big focus is going to be this March 14th vote. And what does AMC typically do before and after earnings? Well, we'll get into it here in this video because it could be a guide of what to expect from this point on. Let's get into all of this information, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. If you guys also want to come trade with me live in real time, link down below in the description of this video. First things first, let's acknowledge the AMC stock actually beat on earnings. AMC reported a fourth quarter adjusted net loss of 14 cents a share compared to consensus estimates for a loss of 21 cents per share. So yes, we are getting better. Yes, AMC did still lose a lot of money and they're not where they need to be fundamentally. Now, on one hand, that's not necessarily a good thing. Yes, you beat estimates, but you're still losing a lot of money. What is, I would say, a positive thing is the reset of expectations that we essentially got from this earnings. We did not get a path to profitability. We did not get an estimate to when AMC will be profitable. Now, I think some people were expecting that. After all, the box office looks to be in much better shape in 2023 than 2022, and it comes down to expectations. So going on from this point forward, the expectations are going to be lower. And Adam Aron said repeatedly during the earnings call that we will have to raise capital. We will have to sell stock into the markets. And that's why they're not going to cancel this March 14th vote. But like I alluded in the last video, essentially the vote can happen on March 14th and you will get a yes or a no answer, but nothing will happen. The merge between APE and AMC, none of that is going to happen until April 27th at the very minimum. And this could drag on for a while. As you guys do know, courts, things can take a long time. And essentially, we're going to see around April 27th if or when this will actually go through. If a judge says, yeah, this is not going to happen, then that could be a bullish thing for the stock. Ultimately, if this does go through, that could also be a bullish thing for AMC because fundamentally it helps out the company, and that is the reason why shorts ultimately cover on their short positions. Now, I'm not telling you to vote either which way. Come to your own conclusions. Do what you guys want to do in that regard. I think it does very little good for me to tell you guys what to do as far as how to vote, and that's just very un-American-like to do as well. So we're not going to do that. Now, from my perspective here, since Adam Aron said what he said, the vote's going to happen. The markets are pricing that in again today. You went from not pricing it in as much, well, let me rephrase. You went from pricing it in before earnings, right? Until we got these lawsuits, and then the markets are like, whoa, maybe it won't go through. Maybe, just maybe. So then the stock went higher. Well, now after earnings, the markets are like, yeah, this might go through. They're not going to cancel it. Now the stock's heading lower. Not really a big surprise. At the same time, AMC did beat on earnings. They beat expectations, which tends to lead to an overall uptrend. Essentially, what leads stocks to go up in general? If you're talking about a normal stock, it's beating earnings expectations unless there is other things that happen to the business, right? It tends to be earnings beating expectations, and that's exactly what AMC did do. Now, like I said in the last video, the fact AMC is not down 15-20% today is a positive thing. And I don't think the markets are reacting to the actual earnings numbers or the commentary as much as they are pricing in the possibility that this vote does go through. Now, what do we know about this vote with AMC? It's driving shorts into short positions at an exponentially faster rate than they were before because they are essentially shorting AMC and they are going out and buying APE. Now, until March 14th at the very earliest, you're not going to know what's going to happen, right? And even after that, March 14th is the vote day. April 27th is this preliminary injunction. So between really now and April 27th, you're not going to have a definitive answer, and this could lead to a lot of volatility based off of what analysts start to expect, based off of what Adam Aaron starts to say, and how sentiment can either pull or push away from this overall March 14th vote. So when you put all of this together, this does not say to me the short squeeze is over. In fact, it tells me there's going to be a lot more volatility and a lot more potential opportunities to make a lot of money within AMC. After all, if all hope was lost, I think AMC would have been down over 20% on the day. You are down 8.5%. It's a very rough day across the board in the markets. You got good, very good PMI data coming out from China showing manufacturing is doing well and their recovery is on its way. That caused futures to really go up exponentially this morning. And then what happened? German inflation data came out and it went higher again, and that is what is spooking the markets. And the S&P is down over 0.5% today with some very volatile drops, and the fact that AMC could be down a lot more and it's not is a bullish thing. Now, we are above the downtrending line of resistance, the level that all of these rallies that you have seen in recent years, really going back to June of 2021, which is almost 2 years now, have gotten rejected at this line, and you have never held this line as long as we are holding this right now. And I think that does go to show a lot, because right now this line is going to roughly be at about $5.35 per share. The longer we go, say if it comes to March 9th, well, that's just next week. That's next Thursday. March 10th is next Friday. That's going to put this line at about $5 per share. So you're going to remain above this level. That means you're going to stay in a long-term or what could be a long-term bullish uptrend. When you tend to break out above long-term downtrends, you tend to get big reversals to the upside. And considering AMC did beat earnings, considering FTDs are so high and out of this world, it could set us up for a rally over the next couple of weeks. After all, like I said in the last video, AMC usually sells off heading into earnings and even after earnings most of the time, and then they tend to rally. It happened back here in June of 2021, right? You sold off and then you started to rally pretty much instantaneously. Same thing happened back here in August of 2021. We did not rally after earnings of November of 2021, but that was when the markets were starting to take a dump, right? You rallied in March of 2022 after dropping subsequently following earnings. Then you got a big rally about 2 weeks later. Same thing back here. You dropped into earnings. You actually dropped 2 days after earnings. Then you bottomed and started to recover heading into the next earnings, in which you rallied off of a couple days later. And even back here, you sold off into earnings. The day after earnings back here on November 8th of 2022 was pretty red, right? The day after was almost 8% down, and then subsequently you rallied 18% back to back, starting off. Well, actually, that was to close out the week on Thursday and Friday. You rallied 18% apiece. You subsequently sold off heading into our earnings, right? And you actually went up a little bit, but you initially sold off after these 18% days, right? You guys remember the bottom that we were sitting at $3.77. Now you've totally changed the game, being above this downtrending line, and I don't think that level of bullishness is going away without a fight, especially when you look at the failure to delivers topping almost 7 million on certain days, and specifically next Friday is going to be next Tuesday is going to be a 6.8 million FTD day. Next Monday is going to be 2.8 million. Monday is 6.8 million. Tuesday is 5.2 million. Wednesday is 3.5 million. Thursday is 3.6 million. And on Friday would be about 1.5 million. So you're looking at a ton of FTDs. And if you look right here, this is really what you're looking at. is this number right here, or this column right here, I should say, where my cursor is. If you guys can see that, I'm not sure how good you can actually see it. You're looking at FTDs that are essentially ramping up higher. And if you look at even back here in the beginning of 2023, and this would have been FTDs that were supposed to be settled in December of 2022, you were only looking at a couple 100,000, a couple million here, like 1 million, 2 million here. You did get a weird spike December 16th and December 19th, like 3.5 million FTDs. And surprisingly or not, I don't think it's that surprising, Mondays and Fridays tend to be the biggest spikes with FTDs when options become due. The FTDs spike on Friday, they continue into Monday, and then they subsequently start to go down. Now, throughout the rest of this week, guys, today is March 1st. So you've seen about 3.2 million FTDs come due. Tomorrow, 3 million FTDs will come due. And on Friday, 2.85 million FTDs will come due. And then next week, that's where things get a little bit wild, right? FTDs start off at 6.8 million. They do go down by Friday to about 1.5 million. So every day tends to go down a little bit. 6.8 million, then 5.2 million, then 3.5 million, then 3.6 million, then 1.5 million. But then you start off on Monday at 1.8 million of the next week. And this is going to be the major week for volatility within AMC. Not only is this the week that you will get the March 14th vote, right? Friday of that week is going to be March 17th. So on Tuesday, you're going to get that vote. It's going to be number one key of volatility. Number two, the option activity is out of this world, and we'll take a look at it right now. But that week, as far as FTDs, you start off Monday at 1.8 million, Tuesday 2.5 million, Wednesday at 3.3 million, Thursday at 3.9 million, and on Friday, March 17th, 6.8 million FTDs. FTDs are positions and shares that need to be bought back within 35 days. So when you come down to those 35 days, there is literally no choice but to cover on that short position, to buy those shares back, regardless of politics or what is going on in the stock market. If you take a look at the Stock tracker data for March 17th, 631,000 calls out of the money, 71,000 calls in the money, 272,000 puts in the money, and 909,000 puts that are out of the money. This is going to be the major week of volatility, and I think this is when AMC could really set up for a big rally. Even think positioning and the time frames of history, whereas when AMC does sell off after earnings, subsequently tends to rally 2 to 4 weeks after earnings. 2 weeks from today is going to put you at that week of it's going to put you at March 15th. That tends to be right on the money when potentially AMC stock could rally the day after the March 14th vote. So hopefully all of this is making some sense to you guys. If I were to just predict down the line on what is going to happen with AMC, I do think you trade sideways from here for a little bit. I think there was some good and some bad that came out of earnings overall. Net positive as far as earnings are concerned. The vote, that's going to be the thing the markets try to price into AMC. But I do think you trade sideways until ultimately you do make a higher high, and that's going to be around $9 per share. Ultimately, after March, could rally as high as $15 per share, just depending on what happens. And the beautiful thing is, I think it's a win-win either way. It's a win on the short squeeze basis as far as the near term, right? Getting that arbitrage trade to go away, right? Between shorting AMC and buying APE, if that vote don't go through, that is donezo. I mean, you're going to see shorts massively weighed into the short side, and you're going to see some shorts cover, at least from my personal opinions. What do I know? But if it does go through, ultimately it's going to put AMC in a better fundamental position. So I think both sides of this are not terrible. And it's hard to really tell, to be honest with you guys, what would be better here. What would actually cause a short squeeze? You might think a shakeup and actually letting AMC and Adam Aron do what they need to do might be the best. Who knows? After all, AMC, the executives at AMC, Adam Aron, everybody is going to make more money if AMC does go higher besides the shorts. So AMC, Adam Aron, the executives, they are very much in a position they want to see a short squeeze. So maybe it's time to let them see what they can do. Who knows? That's my take on all of this information, guys. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comments section. That is it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.